Hello everyone and welcome back to our channel where we talk everything and anything SEO. Today I have Helen. We met at a conference and I was really taken by her knowledge, and I'm extremely happy that she has agreed to join our podcast, even though she is not from iGaming. She's more from like the SaaS end, and she ran an interesting test and she wrote about it. So Helen, welcome, and please tell us all about it. I mean, it's a fantastic article and I'm very happy you agreed to talk about it with us.
Thank you so much for having me. It was a lovely meeting at the conference last year, and then now coming back together to chat some SEO. Yeah, this study is actually an expansion of a study that we did, goodness, probably almost 2 years ago when AI Overview first started popping up. We were very curious, what's going on? Like, is it appearing for all queries? Is it appearing for different types of intent of queries? And how does that vary by industry? A lot of SEO studies that are done are sort of just taking very generic queries and checking that. It's just like very, very broad. And as you probably know, doing SEO for SaaS versus like e-commerce versus like gaming is very, very different. And so I wanted to sort of challenge the results that everyone was doing. And so we did a study looking at HR and work tech keywords. So for those that are in the software, B2B industry, anything that's like about employee onboarding, field service management, job management, like a lot of these like broad sort of tools you use at work. And so we did a study with AI Overview to understand where was it appearing. Then we did a follow-up 6 months later to see how much it improved. And then this year, or late last year, yeah, we teamed up with SE Ranking. They did a really cool study with AI mode looking at 10,000 queries. But once again, it was very general. It was very broad. And we wanted to see, okay, for our industry, what does this look like? So reached out to them and asked if they would be interested in doing this collaboration. And I said, hey, I loved your study. Can we just replicate it with my data? And we went with it. And so, yeah, we analyzed over 5,000 queries in work tech and HR software. So we wanted to see how much do they appear in AI mode, AI overview, and search in the organic results to see, do those three things match up or are they different? So is SEO and geo the same is sort of what we were kind of looking at, you know?
Okay, cool. I read it and I will put a link to this article on our description because it's really, really, really cool. And I have a few follow-up questions because obviously you're explaining it perfectly. But like now I understand the motivation behind it. But was there anything that surprised you, like from traditional Google search to AI overviews? Was there anything that was like really shocking? Like this would never rank in normal search, and yet it's in AI overviews or vice versa.
Yeah. Yeah, what shocked me the most was how little the overlap was. So there was 25% of top ranking URLs. So that's the URLs that are in the top 10 results appeared in AI mode. So if someone switched to the
25%.
25%,
It's very little. I
yeah,
thought it's more because in iGaming we don't have this problem much because it's like weird industry. Google is not even looking at us. They allow us to do black hat and like just let's not go there with AI overviews. We might recommend some bullshit here. So we don't really have it. And when we have it, it's more like the retention keywords. So we don't really see these on our results that much and we read about it. So 25% for me is shocking. I thought it's gonna be 70 plus.
yeah, this is why I often say, of course, geo shares a lot of fundamentals with SEO, but these systems are essentially different. The other part of it that was quite shocking is the way that they did the study was running it 3 times through, just to see an average of the results. Running it 3 times through, and the number of times that the same sources would appear was quite low. And so it doesn't mean that you're going to appear every time. I think it was 16% between AI overview and AI mode. So 25% between AI mode and search results, but then you also have AI overview. So you're competing against these 3 different systems just right inside Google that are pulling from a wider group of domains and URLs. So while the AI systems are allowing more people to be found, it's not as consistent because it's sort of like shuffling through like a large set of
Okay.
domains that it trusts.
Okay, so in Google, we usually have like top 3. They don't change much. Maybe position 3 goes to 4 and 4 to 3, but that's not much of a change. So in AI overviews, you see much more of this. Do you think it's how it's going to be, or it's still a learning and it's maybe testing like what people interact with more, or what do you think it is? Is it a test, or is it how the AI overviews will always be, that they will just keep giving you different results? I have no opinion here. I'm really asking as an AI
Yeah,
overview amateur.
I think this is a result of how LLMs work. And so the way that they're working, and they're sort of just generating these things based on probability, that there's a set of URLs that they're like, okay, we trust these. They're domains that everyone trusts. Google trusts them. You know, they're known. It's not like random URLs being thrown into the mix. And so I think it's just going to be further and further fragmented, because it's always going to be a probabilistic like outcome of what source gets chosen in that moment. And the fact that AI systems prefer fresh content, so maybe they'll choose a source that came out yesterday that's duplicating your source, you know? It's sort of still very rogue in understanding that, but I don't think it's going to change.
Okay, that's very interesting. So basically in AI overviews, anyone has changed if they are established with Google and if they keep paying attention to freshness. That is cool. That is a learning number 1 here.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I read it, but I wasn't sure if I understood it correctly. So is there anything that you would recommend for people to do outside of being recognized source and using fresh results? Is there some trick that you discovered that we might maybe use to rank better or appear more often, be cited more in AI overviews?
Yeah, I think the best strategy, which is something that I've always really believed in, but that sort of comes out every time I do these studies again and again, is that diversifying your content. So, especially in SaaS, I feel like it's very straightforward. You can say, I have this one product that I want to work with. Okay, do you have the product page? Okay, do you have case studies to support this? Do you have blog content that supports it? Do you have buying guides? Do you have comparative guides? Do you have all of this content pieces that address the entire funnel and that builds your topical authority, so that maybe you won't be chosen when it comes down to the comparative studies because they're going to choose G2 or Capterra, one of these sites. But when someone is looking for a template, or if they're looking for a bit information that they need for integrations, like they can go to your site. I mean, that is also another like very easy win, is making sure that the content on your site is meaningful. So your integration page isn't just called integrations and then it's like integrate with QuickBooks. And it's like, okay, but what does that integration do? What separates you from your competitors? And having that very explicitly on your website, not keeping that for a sales call, that is what's going to help you. Like being very transparent about your product you're offering, and making sure that you appear in content, written content, video. Video was another huge one that came out in the study.
All right, that's interesting. So, like at least in our industry, we use a lot of AI generated content and stuff, but it looks like for AI overviews, that's not going to cut it. That needs to be a little bit more in depth, right? From what it sounds.
I think you can get away with a lot of AI content. And I think the more sophisticated you get with creating AI content, you can pretty much get away with it. Yeah, with AI content, you can still appear in AI overview. It's fine. Yeah, I don't think, like, Google has never really said explicitly, don't do it, as long as it's helpful, it's meeting user intent. Yeah, I have zero problem if it's helpful.
All right. As well, what I'm understanding and what I want to ask why doesn't it guarantee that if you are ranking high in, let's say, top 10 in Google normal SEO search, the SERPs, not the paid ones, why does it guarantee the visibility in AI results? Like, I know you said a few things, but is there something that you really found like, okay, if you always have this, you will always appear, or more likely of the 16%. But if you don't have this, you will never, or you will appear only 1%. Is there anything that you found that was really like maybe links or internal links? Was it something that really gave you an answer? Like, if I'm going to tell my client to do this, I want to make sure they rank in Google. Everybody wants to still rank, and yet they will still be in AI overviews.
Yeah, I mean, I would tell them, of course, their content needs to be optimized. They still should rank. So ranking is still at least going to increase the potential that you're going to appear, but it's not as simple as just having one page appear. It's also being mentioned on other people's websites. So if somebody is talking about the best job management software and you want to sell your job management software, you should probably appear on that list. You should be mentioned, branded, branded mentions are the new SEO now. And this is because AI systems prefer this authority, especially when you're talking about Google's AI overview and AI mode. I know there was a study, I think Ahrefs did, that found that AI overviews highly prefer domains that have a healthy backlink profile, that have a lot of citations. And so it's sort of signaling that that's still quite relevant and that Google's system is integrated still into this AI interface.
Interesting. Fantastic. I mean, I'm loving this study. I read it a few times because it's so much new information that you just cannot, digest it at once. Now, going to brand, I keep saying it for years now in our industry that I would move away from exact match domains and I would do brand. I would really do brand. And I always said that it's just Google prefers it. It answers the EAT signals and it's just helpful. And people will remember you rather than, being online casino 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because we do those. How important is brand in AI overviews or any ChatGPT, any of them? Would you prefer them to exact match domain? I mean, you said a little bit yes, but did you see in your study the correlation that brands are just it?
Yeah, you can see brands are important. You can see when we looked at, say, bottom of funnel versus top of funnel content, they selected different brands. And so Google understands that different brands are what is trusted in that moment by users. They have infinite data on us. They know how to do this. Yeah, a brand exact match domain, I think it's something that I definitely didn't look at. I didn't see in this case.
Okay.
I think in software, it's like not really. We actually have the opposite problem where people want to name their companies things like beekeeper or tabs, and it's like very generic and it's very hard then to make a brand. So that's a totally different challenge. But you do see with the bottom of funnel, top of funnel that we examine like different search intents, different brands being selected because Google understands, okay, that's their authority in this space. So when someone is at that purchasing decision and comparing different brands, they know, okay, let's give G2, let's give Capterra. Those are the most trusted sources for that. Whereas if you're looking for something else, they will pull different sources. And so as we went up the funnel, we would see more of the brands in that space that were selling that were being cited, as long as they had good content. If they had helpful content that matched, user intent, things people are searching for, you can appear there. And so that's why I'm saying diversify and get your your brand out there. Also, the other part of the AI systems is that it can easily connect all the properties online. So your LinkedIn, your Crunchbase, your G2, your Facebook, everything for your brand. So having that locked in is super important, or then you're kind of allowing the AI systems to hallucinate or go off of what other people are saying about your brand. So it's sort of, I guess, like a multi-layer thing that's happening.
Okay. I read actually a study that third-party publications are cited more than your own website, but I think it's a lot of time because your website doesn't have the authority than, let's say, Ahrefs, if you publish an article there. So yeah, definitely diversify. So I found so far things that you gave us as a tips was good links, brand, freshness, and authority, basically all together. Is there anything else you would throw in a mix? Is there anything I've forgotten to say? Those are like the things I would like to remember from this video. Like, okay, if I'm going to, let's say Google will decide that gambling companies, suddenly casino searches will appear in AI overviews, I want to make sure I have those. So anything else you would say that I've forgotten or you found in your study that absolutely is a must? Simplifying it for us, simplifying it for us.
It's all good. This, I'm going to go back, I think, to the diversification of content. I think it's very much slept on, but not necessarily thinking about it in a broad sense. I'm not telling you go do video and go do animations and stuff like this, but even just thinking about the content on the website that you own and not measuring oh, am I ranking for this keyword or this keyword? Well, now thinking about what are those topic clusters and what are the prompts that I want to appear on? Because keywords are kind of becoming outdated. As we saw, like just because you may rank for a keyword doesn't mean you're going to appear in the AI overview or the AI mode. And so it's more of understanding, like, do you appear for, like, for example, what is job management queries? Like, how often are you a source? How often are you a brand that's mentioned? If someone is looking for best job management software, is your brand mentioned or is your domain being cited? Your brand versus another brand, or even relevant like work order templates. So thinking about these things and then building out those content clusters that are supporting your products, and thinking about it not just in keywords, but yes, in this more cluster. I think Search Console is also forcing us to do this in a way. They released that new topic clusters, and I think it's helpful to understand.
Very, yes.
It's like, okay, yeah, one keyword can move up and move down. 5 other keywords on the same page move up or down. So I think chasing keywords is going to be hard. It is very difficult measuring AI visibility right now because all of the systems out there are very simulated. But I will say it's a baseline. Just try to think, what's the most important questions someone would ask? What queries, what prompts are people writing? Get to know your audience and then understand what are the problems, what are the jobs to be done. It's very straightforward of thinking, like, just reverse engineering, put yourself in their shoes. And I think, like, understanding that, yeah, we're measuring our work a bit differently. SEO has been crying about traffic going down, but we have new things to be looking at.
So going back to serving humans rather than let's rank on Google for this one keyword, because that is starting to become a little bit irrelevant. As well, in your study, have you found the soft metrics once people come to the website being impactful if you are going or not going to be visible in AI, such as click-through rate, dwell time, bounce rate, all of these that we know are somewhat important when it comes to having a website in top 10. We know that they are somewhere there in a mix and we need to get people to the site and let them stay. Is it the same for AI or is it more important or not at all?
You bring up an interesting thing, and now I want to go dig into the data again and check. We are tracking AI visibility of our clients, and we see that they have a better conversion rate for their LLM traffic compared to organic traffic. So while a lot of people are saying, well, LLM traffic is just 1 to 3% of organic, we actually are finding that it's more qualified traffic. The people already sort of know what they're doing, what they're looking for, and that click is a higher quality.
Oh, that's very interesting. So smaller traffic, but better conversion. It's like a long tail keyword, basically.
Yeah.
Fantastic. I as well read a study that speed is extremely important, that when you are doing normal SEO, Google already has your pages indexed somewhere there. They can go because they're cached and they can just recrawl them. But for the AI overviews or any of these LLM searches, as you correctly said, freshness. So they keep scraping the web all the time and trying to find the most relevant thing. Did you find that speed is really important? Because I have this just from one study and I would like to verify, is speed the thing? If they don't manage to sort of crawl your content in certain time, you're out?
This is also something I definitely will need to look at in my next study. That would be very curious to see. We've recently ran an experiment where we have a site that we use as a playground to test things. And we rebuilt it to the point where, like, it just sped it up really fast. And we saw the organic visibility just like go up. And so I definitely believe that there's something there. I think with what you're saying, the speed and how often it's scraping, I think if it's not able to read your page, it's not going to bother. And yeah, I don't have strict data on this, but I'm definitely very curious now. So I'm adding it to my list.
Fantastic. So you are going to prepare 2 new studies from what I hear, the soft metrics and speed. And I want to be cited as an author. So I give
Yes.
this idea. No,
That'd be awesome.
I think it's always fantastic to come up with new ideas as you speak to people. I always do that. Like I run a podcast and somebody says something, I say, oh, I need to run a test on that. Like for me, it's super educational. Okay, so I think we've got tons of things that we need to learn about AI overviews. So for example, I suspected links might be important. I didn't understand the freshness is this important. I didn't understand the difference between top 10 being so stable for Google and AI overviews just going through different and different sources. This is so much information. Any closing thoughts, anything that you want us to remember from your study? Because again, I will link to it so people can read it, but it's so much information. It's better if you explain it to us.
Yeah, I will say that search has diversified. The fragmentation of it is permanent, and that we cannot probably optimize for all the systems, but we should try to identify what are the most important ones that your target audience are using. That is why I also welcome people to take my study and challenge it for another industry. I would love to see the results and compare them, but know that there's all these new search spaces and that not all of them are equal. Optimizing for one is not optimizing for all of them. And so, yeah, just zeroing in on a few of them that are the most important and in bringing the most quality traffic will keep you ahead.
I have one more thought-provoking thing. What if you have a client and say, I want to optimize for one, either normal search or AI overviews. We know they a little bit overlap, but let's say they don't know. What would you tell them? For now, let's still keep normal optimizing, or let's already be the futuristic one and prepare AI overviews so we are visible as much as possible. If you can choose just one, obviously both, but if you can choose just one.
Just one. Oof. Probably the Google. Yeah, I would say like building that foundation is still very important. And it's, as we said, it's sustainable. Those results don't change as much as you see domains and citations shifting inside the AI systems. And so at least it guarantees that you will appear.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts and knowledge.
Thank you so much.